Hi everyone, welcome to the show On the Couch with Kelly live, and tonight we have Laurie Grovenor. And we've just been sitting here having a few little giggles, but the serious part of life is that Laurie is without sight and in a wheelchair, and a fancy one too, I might say. So I guess I've been talking to Laurie in regards to, about being positive in this situation. Now, how old are you, Laurie?
I'm 78 years old.
78, and she looks fantastic. And I'm just looking at your gown and everything you've got on tonight, and one question I want to ask, how do you know what to wear? It's like...
I used to be a fashion coordinator in another life, and I learned all about colours and how to dress people and that, and the colour things, and I've been very finicky, and it's always stayed with me.
Uh-huh. So when you actually go out to choose something to wear, like when you go shopping for something to wear, obviously you'd have to ask people like, what colour is it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can actually put your outfits together.
Yes.
By what people are telling you.
Yes.
So
and I can mark the colours when I get them home. So I can, but mostly, just by the feel of them. Just roll them out and you know what colour you've got.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Wow, that's insane. So you actually feel colour.
Well, you know what colours you bought, and you know the material those colours are on, and the style. So as long as you keep that in your memory, you can just say, oh yeah, that's my pink top.
So you'd have to have a fabulous memory.
Yes, you do.
With a lot of things.
You learn to remember a lot of things when you're vision impaired because, phone numbers are another thing. You need to be able to do the phone numbers. Not so much now that the iPhone and all those smartphones have all come into being.
That you can talk to them.
Yes, that does terrible things to your memory, actually.
And have you always been without your sight?
I was born with keratoconus, and that as a child, my vision was out of focus. How TVs are when they're out of focus.
Mm-hmm.
My vision was actually out of focus.
And how long did that last?
Well, I still would have been, but I've had a few corneal transplants to try and get my eyesight back, and they lasted for a few years, and in one eye, and I was actually able to get a licence in one eye for a couple of years. I loved it, and then it all went again, so I lost it again. So, yeah.
And you've got a great attitude. I mean, I just think you've just got such a wonderful, happy, beautiful attitude to life. And it's lovely to share that with everyone out there tonight, because I know there'd be times, are there times when you just get, oh no, are there ever times that you just feel like you can't cope?
Not really, not in that way, no, because the last time I actually saw myself, I was 35, with dark hair and a figure.
Oh.
Now I've got a figure, and you've seen my hair.
So you know what colour it is. Everyone's told you. They've been honest.
I'm not all that interested in seeing myself. No, but really I'm quite content. I've learned how to live this way. I've got my whole lifetime settled. The whole lifestyle, I've got that all settled. So I'm quite happy, content.
You were in your 30s when you lost your sight completely?
Yes.
Had you married and had children?
I had children. I had children in that interim period. And then when I lost all my sight, I had 4 daughters. I already had 4 daughters, and I holiday fostered 3 boys after I lost my sight.
You fostered?
Holiday fostered 3 boys, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Oh, no, don't look after me.
Oh, wow, no, that is just beautiful. So how old were your daughters when you lost your sight?
Varying age. Rena would have been about 12, I suppose, or 13. I'm only guessing that because I can't really remember. And the others go down a year or 2 between them, going down. Yeah.
So you were able-bodied then and had a guide dog?
Yes, I got a guide dog. I've had 8 guide dogs, and I've been writing a book about my training with the guide dogs that Evelyn, my next door neighbour, she is going to edit it for me.
Wow, and in there, I guess, because there's always a message, isn't there, when you write a book about something. And what's one of the messages that you would like to give someone out there that when they see you with a guide dog or someone with a guide dog, what's one thing that you want to say to them?
Don't pat the guide dog.
And I mean, that's the first thing everyone wants to do. That's the first thing I did when I walked in here.
Some dogs, they absolutely love being patted. So you've got a plane to catch, you've got to go to work or something, you go out to buy that bit of milk that you ran out of, and it can take you an hour to get to the shop while everyone's petting your dog. Now, some dogs love it, and some dogs can't stand it because you pat them, you bang them on the top of the head. And therefore they will then avoid going in that area because they don't want to be patted. And the ones that like it, they're not going to take you where you want to go because they're going to say, oh, there looks like a good pat over there, I think I'll go over there. And often those dogs, which cost $35,000, $36,000 each, have to be retired because it's made them unworkable.
Oh wow!
So it's a very serious thing when people go patting your guide dogs.
So let me just say that once again to everyone out there, like, you know, this is a really important message. You know, you do see a guide dog, you know, I mean, they're wonderful and you just love what they're doing for sure, but just don't go and pat them. Now, you're hearing it from Laurie here today. It's really important not to pat them. So let's just get that message across and make sure you tell people that you know as well. Okay, so let's just getting back to life, I guess.
Yes.
And you've decided to write the book on the guide dogs.
Yes, on receiving the guide dogs and what my life was before I had a guide dog and the excitement and the waiting and all this on.
How long did you have to wait?
Well, first of all, when I decided that I wanted a guide dog, starting off, I had 8 years where I hardly left the house after I went blind. Because wow. I didn't have any method of going. I didn't want to leave the house because I had children, I had a husband, and I thought I was going to have to go away to be trained. I was very wrong there, but I had no idea of that, so I stayed home with my children. And then one day I was on the hands and knees on the floor, cutting curtains out, you know, railing it out, and in walked, they knocked on the door, and in walked, without my knowledge, they were coming, the guide dogs and the Royal Blind Society. They walked in together. Wow. And from then on, you know, next thing I had a watch that I could read, I had a talking book, I had training with the cane, and all these different things I could do for the first time in my life, and it was just so wonderful.
Would have opened up your whole world.
Yes, it did. And then the house where I lived, it was a rural house. We lived in the old family homestead, dirt road, you know. And the cane didn't work terribly well on the work because you didn't have the curbs that you actually needed.
Yeah,
and there were potholes, and it depended on the rain and the kids, how that worked. So I decided that I would like to get a guide dog. So I asked my instructor if I could have a guide dog, and they did some tests on me, and the answer was no, I wasn't fit enough. Oh. Now, I don't like being refused, and I refused to be refused. So I got my head together with the instructor, and we did these exercises. We walked 10 k's, I think it was, a day, just about, until I was fit enough. Because you walk really slowly, you know, in case a brick wall pops up in front of you, or there's a hole there you don't know about, you know, so you just tend to walk very slowly. Anyway, I armed myself with a bottle of red when I thought I was ready, and I flew down to Melbourne where the guide dog centre was in those days, and they tried me out, and by the way, they told me I could have a guide dog. I was on the waiting list, and I was so excited, so I flew back in a state of total excitement home, and then I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and 12 months later I got told that there was a guide dog suitable for me. So I hopped on the plane and went down to Melbourne for the training, and I don't know how much of this you want me to go into a bit of the training or not.
Who did you hop on the plane with? Did you have someone with you?
No, I think I went by myself, yeah.
Well, little birdie told me, just a little birdie told me, that I think, did you catch a ferry or something across from Stockton and then got on the train and went to Sydney by yourself?
Often, yeah.
Didn't you have any fear of...
No, I was quite confident. Yes.
See, it's just, I find that extraordinary.
It comes down to common sense and training, listening to your instructor, doing the common sense thing, and just having the confidence, I suppose, in yourself to be able to do it.
Have you ever been stuck in a situation where you kind of got a bit overwhelmed by it and try to work out what was going to happen next or how you'd get out of that situation?
Not really. I tend to be a bit bullheaded, and I don't think of situations. It's other people that see me in it that think I need rescuing. It's not me that thinks I need rescuing.
Don't worry, viewers. We're sitting here. We've got other people in the room, and we're all having a giggle together about this because we find Laurie so extraordinary and certainly an inspiration to so many of us out there. So, you said you're married.
Yes.
Yep. Is your husband still with us?
Yes, yes. He's having a little lie down at the moment.
Oh, good on him.
He was banished. Yeah.
So, yeah, that must have been a lot for him too, to, you know, go through that as well as, you know, like...
He's been very good. He has been very good, you know. He never ever refuses to let me go where I like, go with me if he must. I'm not saying he doesn't whinge a bit.
Well, that's just men in general, isn't it?
Yes. But he always
excuse me,
does it.
sorry guys out there, I know, I love you all, right? But...
Yeah, he's very good to me.
So, I also know, like, putting the book together and that, and do you actually go on a computer?
Yes.
So, how does that work?
Well, my computer has talks on it, and so it's called VoiceOver on the Mac that I've got. So I can either use talk it in, or I can get a keyboard and use the keyboard. I can use a keyboard, and most people who are vision impaired can too. And I just put it in. It talks back what I've done, so I know whether I've made mistakes. Sometimes I don't bother correcting them.
Well, that sounds pretty awesome. That you know, there's something like that available for you.
Well, a lot of people who are vision impaired and blind, they work. They've got really good jobs. You know, I've got a friend in Canberra. He was a solicitor at the Attorney General's Department. I've got friends that are economists. You know, there's blind doctors around. You know, there's a lot of people who have vision impairment and they do such extraordinary jobs. You know, I'm a bit of a nothing compared with what a lot of these
I wouldn't
people
say
do.
that. Everyone's shaking their head going, no, 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 no. I wouldn't say that at all, Laurie. Like, you are extraordinary yourself, let me tell you.
No, my sister-in-law said to me one day, she said, Laurie, she said, it never enters your head you can't do anything, can you? It does it. And to be quite honest, it never did. I never even thought about not being able to do something. And I think that's just nature. That's just something you're given, that you're blessed with. Yeah.
I'm sitting here, I'm nodding, and you know, I'm a bit, you know, taken by the whole thing. But and I know you can't see me nodding, but
no, but I can feel the movement.
Yeah. Oh, a big girl, I move well. Yeah. So let's get back to this book. What's the title?
Get that bloody dog out.
Get that bloody dog out. Okay. So, and you hope, obviously, you're publishing it now, and you hope to have it on the shelves.
I'm still writing it. I'm still writing it.
Oh, you're still writing it?
I've got a long way to go. I've got a long way to go because I've only just onto my first dog, and there's a lot of stories of my first dog, so I've got to keep going down the whole 8 of them that I've had. Yeah, but that's one of the things. You go into a shop, you know, and they don't want your dog in there, so it's get that bloody dog out, you know. Oh,
great title. So, I mean, viewers, look out for it when it does come out there on the shelf. Like, I'm sure it'll be a bestseller. So it talks about every dog that you've had.
It will when I finish it, yes.
And it'll talk about all the wonderful stories and...
Yeah, the good, the bad and the indifferent. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I've put it all in there. All the silly things I've done and all the good things it's done.
What's the most memorable thing that you can tell me now about your first dog?
Oh, there's two very... the first one was when we were given our dogs. My dog had been out before and it had been with somebody who'd got really sick. And so they'd taken it back for retraining and it was given to me. And this fellow had been down to the guide dog centre before and there were 4 of us waiting for new dogs, and he said, I'll stand outside the window and I'll just look in and tell you what each one of them are, what colours they are and everything. So the three people before me, you know, they got their dog and they were so excited, and Oban, that was my dog's name, came in and he took one look at me and ran to the door and cried to get out.
What was your dog's name?
Oban.
Oban.
I loved him, he was gorgeous. And the next thing is, when I finished, the day the instructor left me at home after we'd finished all the training, and I couldn't wait till she went, you know, I wanted to get that harness and I just wanted to go. So she went, I waved her goodbye smilingly, and then I raced inside and I harnessed my dog up and I went down to the post office, and Elva said to me, you know, she said, how can I help you? And I said, I just came here because I could. That was the sole reason. I went to the shop and then I started to walk home. He got 3/4 of the way home and he stopped dead. I tried to get him to move. He went to ground, he wouldn't move. And there's two stubborn people, one very newly trained wonder dog and me. And anyway, I thought, what will I do now? So I went back to my daughter's place, and my daughter was down the road, so I went back to see her. And I said, follow me and tell me why Oban won't go. You know, like, where was the instructor when I needed her? Anyway, she said to me, oh, Mum, they're burning off around our place. That's why he won't go. He wouldn't take me there. And to me, that was the beginning of great faith in my guide dog. Yeah.
Because it is about the faith, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. There's a huge amount of stories about, you know, going into the book about the dog and the actions and me and the stupidity.
So if you were Miss Producer, how long have we got? Okay, if you were going to put a message out there for anyone tonight listening that maybe is having trouble, you know, in the beginning even of losing their sight, and they feel a little bit down and they just don't know how to cope with it, what message would you give that person now?
I think it's perfectly natural to grieve. You're grieving the loss of your eyesight, and I think that's perfectly natural, and I think you need to do, and I think you need to go through your grieving, but then I think there has to be a cut-off point, take the T out of can't and move on with your life.
And do something about it.
And do something about it. There's a lot of life out there, go with the training. Yes.
So let's tell us maybe, has there ever been a situation where you've got really down about what's happened to you, and has there been anything that's come to you that you've thought that you know, a story that you could tell us at a situation that you felt was pretty bad?
Well, I suppose, you know, there's been in some ways lots of those, but I've always been able to think my way through it. It's just something I've been lucky with. But yeah, there have been times that have been pretty bad, like when my sister died and I couldn't get down to her funeral because I just couldn't get there. I didn't know how to get there at the time because I didn't have a guide dog and I hadn't had all that training. You know, those sort of things I was pretty down about. Yes.
You seem very, very happy and well-spirited now. Like, I just know just by being in the room with you, like just what you feel in the room. Like when I first walked in the door, you know, how happy you are and just so jovial, and you just make everyone feel happy.
Well, I actually, believe it or not, feel I'm a lucky person. I see people and they've got everything, they've got all their joints and their things and everything going, and they're so unhappy and they're wondering about what people think of them. I think, well, what other people think of me is none of my business, that's their business. And so that never bothers me. So I think a lot of people have problems, more problems when they've got no physical or mental illness, or maybe it is a mental illness, I don't know. And they seem to worry about everything. But I'm very lucky in that way. I feel very lucky. I don't feel unlucky.
It's beautiful. So now you're in a wheelchair. Is that a full-time thing for you?
I have Parkinson's disease.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's part of life, isn't it?
So your guide dog that you've got now?
Yes, he's basically retired. I've still got him. They didn't take him off me.
Oh, that's
so
so
I might bite
lovely.
them on the leg, yeah.
So he's with you now, and
yes.
And
yes, I've got my guide dog and, you know, my husband, family. I'm very happy.
You're beautiful, let me tell you that.
I don't think that. My hair all fell out. I was sick last year and I had surgery in March, and when I came out my hair fell out.
Well, I tell you what, it looks pretty good now.
Yeah, well, it came back a different colour and it came back curly and a different strength. It doesn't feel like me at all.
Well, it looks beautiful. Looks like it's really healthy, and, you know, let me tell you, viewers, there is a lot of it, a lot more than what I've got on my head.
It's very new. It's very new to me, this hair. It doesn't feel like me, you know. People say, it looks all right. I'm not worried about the looks. It's what it feels like.
It looks beautiful, and it's really shiny and very healthy looking.
Thank you.
I'm telling the truth. So, yeah, I was just a bit taken back by the Parkinson's disease. I had no idea. So when did you find out about that?
10 years ago.
Oh, wow. And has it really come to a head now, do you think? Or
I don't think it's progressing as fast as a lot of other people I know that have it. I don't think it's progressing all that fast, but sometimes it's a bit harder. Sometimes you find you can't move your arms very well or something. Yeah.
it's just such a beautiful, beautiful attitude. Do you not think, everyone? Like, that's what I just wanted to do too. I was thinking I would just feel like standing up and clapping and saying, like, what a hero we've got here. We have really got one hero. Yeah. And, like, oh, thank you to all my beautiful viewers out there. I'm hoping that you just love this interview as much as what I did, because I tell you what, I'm walking out of here feeling absolutely fantastic. So thank you to all the beautiful people that have joined us tonight and continue to join me each and every week. We've got Louise Lamprell, Anthony Lee, thank you, Nerida, thank you, Robin Elric, thank you very much, Jennifer Clark, Amber Jane Sterling, like, thank you for joining in, because I know how hard it's been losing our beautiful friend Jalou in the last couple of days. So thank you for joining in, Amber. We've got Melinda Avery, Gavin Scott, Reese Livermore, Tulia Palazzi. How you going, Tulia? Thank you so much. Vicky Taylor, Linda McKenzie, thank you very much. And thank you everyone that's... Oh, there's another page. We've got Margaret Moffat. We've got Louise Birkins, thank you. Colin Parnell, thank you so much. And Amber Haskew, thank you. Tim Crew and Peter Bailey. Thank you so much, guys, for each and every week tuning in and listening to what we've got to say. It's so wonderful to bring you these heart-filled, beautiful stories about wonderful people in our community. So thank you, and we'll see you next week on The Couch with Kelly. Thank you so much. Bye for now.